Well, this is my, this one is, I'll just say his name is Mike, for the purpose of this. This is actually the restraining order is still in place, or harassment. It's still in place. Started in December 4th, 2007. It's good for 2 years. So I guess I probably have to hide names and stuff. But it just, it would make it it's quite easy to file. Unfortunately, it's quite easy to file a restraining order. And it really wasn't worth my trouble fighting it. So I'm going to talk about how I met this guy, Mike. One second. I was doing some research with my oath, truthunderoath.com, and so I searched on Craigslist for anybody that's willing to run some tests with me, and I found this guy. One second. So I'm paying him to conduct some tests, this oath thing, run some tests, and I pay. We get together, I don't know what, probably once or twice a week, and pay him for a couple hours. And so he's kind of an employee of mine, and you know, again, I get it probably once, sometimes every 2 weeks. But one sec. So it's going pretty good. He's a pretty decent guy. Just then I find out he's getting kicked out of his apartment, and I felt pretty concerned about that. So I offered to pay the rent or help him out for a month's worth so he could stay there. One sec. This is about 2 months into our relationship, and I hadn't used him but about, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 times, going to, conducting experiments with some notaries. TCF was my normal place. One sec. So he's getting kicked out at the end of November 2007. Found out about this about 5 weeks earlier than that date, so I could maybe help him out. And I figured, he said he'd pay me back, and it would, via these experiments that I'm doing, but also that he'd have a job and be able to pay me back that way. So in the process of that statement of getting a job, one second. So I pretty much said, I gave him a deal. I said, listen, if you just show me that you have a solid job by the time, by the end of November, and that way I can assure you that, that way it assures me that this isn't just a temporary Band-Aid, which needs another Band-Aid every month. In other words, show that you can actually stay at this place. If I'm just going to help you out for 1 month and you can't stay there for another month after that, this is pointless. So get a job, and we can, help you out to get you on your feet so that you can stay at your place. So he said no problem. So I forget, one second. So he's working at Dick's Sporting Goods over Thanksgiving, and so the day is coming in which the day is upcoming in which I have to go to court to hand the judge the check. So I'm going to go assist Mike in this process to take care of the check and assure that everything's okay. But at first I wanted to make sure that that he's got a job. So I call up Dick's Sports, and for reference, just to make sure everything's okay. And I find out from the manager that he didn't show up at Thanksgiving, and maybe another time he didn't show up at all yet. And then Sean, just before I called him, said that, yeah, you worked Thanksgiving. So I called Sean back to iterate that I don't think he worked there. And then Sean's, like, no, I worked there. So then I don't know, waited 10-15 minutes to call. I thought about it, so I was thinking, waited half an hour to call Dick Sports back. But by the time I got on the phone, Dick Sports gave me a threat that if I were to call there one more time, that they would call the police. So something has happened in between calling Mike and calling Dick Sports one more time. It's right here in Burnsville, Dick Sports. The manager was just really, something is, so I'm assuming that Sean has said something bad to them, and that's why that Dick Sports has jumped my crap. And so here it is. I'm just trying to follow up, make sure this guy's got a job, so that I can loan him this money. That's not going to be, that's going to go. It's going to do something. It's not going to be some kind of futile effort in loaning him about $900. Well, so I called Sean up again, and I said, what's going on? Dick Sports, they're freaking out over there. Did you threaten them or something? And I think he said, yeah, he threatened to sue him. So I was right. He did. He threatened to sue him if some kind of bad reference kind of thing. It was getting really ridiculous. And at this point, I'm like, this is literally like one day before, the night before, a night or two before the hearing date. So I told Sean, this is not going to work out. This is not going to work out. That was just the freakiest thing. This manager of Dick Sports is so pissed off that I've called, trying to just find out what's going on with Mike. That he, anyways, that was odd. That's it. But I was concerned. I didn't want this. I didn't want him to be kicked out. So I was emailing him just to make sure, the court date. And I guess he got some money. Anyway, so he didn't explain why. But this guy's a perpetual liar, and saying he couldn't get the money, and it turns out he could get the money. So he did get the money, and I'm just concerned because I didn't want him to get kicked out. It's in the middle. It's coming up. Winter's coming up, and before this, there was talking with Mike's manager at the apartment complex, and I guess Mike is just likes to unload swear words, like he's got Tourette's or something. So I never really experienced this until, but it would come up in a little bit. But I was just like, I'd be surprised if they kept him, even if he paid the money. At this point, that's why I was having trouble understanding the situation. I was trying to gather this whole situation, and I went over to Mike's house one time, and they're nice. Seem like nice people. The wife's nice, and but he's got I don't know. It seems like something's fishy. It's like he's got a decayed tooth, like he's doing meth or something. So I'm wondering what's going on here, and I guess I'm just trying to get a full picture of what's going on. So, anyways, the court date comes up. He's able to stay in the apartment. Somehow he gets the money, and the apartment complex manager keeps him, which is like a sort of I'm confused. I'm confused at all this. So I'm just concerned for his welfare, and make sure everything's okay. But in the process of this, to just contact him to make sure he's okay, he filed a restraining order on me. He said, evidently, my whole thing in this was I'm concerned for his welfare, and he filed a restraining order on me. And it is this is where it gets pretty easy to file a restraining order, especially if you're so poor that you can get the state to actually pay the filing fee, like $250 filing fee. So he's poor enough to get that done for free, and it states in here that I'm stalking him, uninvited visits to the petitioner, harassing phone calls, made threats to the petitioner, frightened petitioners with threatening behavior, called the petitioner abusive names. So this is all what's being said here. And what else? That I drive by and emails us, stops by without consent, calls my work, got fired from previous job because of continuing phone calls, threatened to vandalize our car. Drove by and stopped by uninvited Tuesday. Also, he told us he seen us at our apartment and he keeps stalking us. Please help us. We are scared. Tuesday, the 27th of November, said he was going to, I quote, F up your car, threatening to damage our car. Keeps emailing and calling and driving by and showing up at our jobs and calling them. names that I've called him: bitch, a-hole, MFer, and faggot. And so this got filed, and I could have fought it, I guess, if it was worth my time. And perhaps for the sake of my oath research, I should have seen if he could state this stuff under oath. I'm assuming this is a court document and everything should be under oath here, but it's confusing to me if it's. Anyways, it wasn't worth my time. I didn't fight it, so this thing is actually still in place. And it's amazing just how easy it is to get a restraining order. I don't call this my last restraining order because it is my latest at the time of this taping. But it's so easy to get one that I have no doubt that it might happen again. You can just make up anything you want, it appears. And one second. By the way, none of that stuff is true, except for that I did email him concerned for his welfare, if he had to get kicked out of his apartment or not. And I guess he did not, but that's pretty much the last I've heard of him, because I didn't email him ever since then. And one second. Back in Redwood, it was one of my conditions for restraining order was one of the conditions was that I not have any more involvement in any law, any more conflicts in the law, whether it be a ticket or another restraining order. And it just when I heard about this, of course I had a lawyer at the time, Joel Soley, and I'm like, dude, it can't be that. We can't make that constraint in there, because it's so easy to get a restraining order filed. But this is the best that my lawyer could do for me. And I knew it could be this easy to you just file and make up some crazy crap, and you just file it. And now, had it been during that time, that 1-year probation, had this been filed during that probation period, I would have fought this to make sure that it didn't get actual filed. But it is very easy to file one of these things, especially if it doesn't cost you anything. And if you're so poor that you can get the state to pay for it, then it's a done deal. It makes it pretty easy to cause other people problems. So was it nice guys finished last? That's pretty much what happened here. I'm just a nice guy trying to, maybe help this guy out financially and concerned for his welfare, and get a restraining order put on me. So it's an amazing process. Now, the night before the court hearing, when I found out everything was falling apart on his story, and I'm accusing him of lying, he starts swearing at me, and this is where the first time that he would show this swearing thing that I've been hearing about. But it was like, it's like nothing to me. I'm used to the Navy kind of talk. So, but he did. He's just so pissed off at me for welching on this $900 I was going to loan him, or loan him. It's going to be a loan, and that he called Apple Valley Police, and so then the officer calls me and something about having this problem, and I told him the story that I was going to loan this guy some money, and he goes, "Yeah, I can see why you didn't want to loan him. I can see why you didn't want to loan him any money." And it was just kind of like, one second. I know it was the way he said it that it was like, yeah, I can see why you would never want to loan anybody any money. And it's kind of like you're not supposed to. It's almost like the way he said it. It's like, you must be like almost crazy to actually want to help anybody out, So, and I had this funny, how. One second. I mean, it's just I'm trying to help somebody out here because it looks like he's in some need, and the idea of the police officer is like the way he projects it. It's kind of like I can see why he wouldn't want to help him out. Kind of like I can see why he wouldn't want to help anybody out. And one second. It was like it was kind of a theme that I shouldn't be heartless. You know, I should not give to anybody. You know, and it may be something of worth, what he said, the way he said it. You know, don't care for anybody and don't give to anybody. You know, it's yeah. I mean, it is something. It's amazing. This might do it, and then I'm talking about the police officer. But it was also the way he said it. It was just, it's like you know, the theme of it all. You know, don't be a nice guy because you'll just get shafted. You know, and don't help anybody out because it doesn't pay off. It doesn't pay. Be, you know, maybe be a meanie because I don't know if that's exactly what he's saying, but you know, don't be a nice guy or you're gonna get it in shorts. And that's pretty much what happened.